Hi, my name's Liz Leach Murphy, and I'm the founder and managing director of Imagineer Development UK CIC. Each one of the team this week is doing a story and their own story as to what's happened in their life and what's brought them to be doing what they're doing at this stage in their life as part of the International Storytelling Week. And as practitioners and people that do the work we do, which is independent support brokerage, we really recognise the importance of story sharing as a way of understanding somebody and the past and the way of making connections with other people in their life as well. So this is my story as to how I've ended up in this place in my life. So going back to when I was just leaving school, I really was keen on studying music, and I went to Leeds College of Music. I was studying cello at the time, and I'd been playing cello for 2 years. My original teacher was a lady called Sally Lads, and her husband Roger Lads took on my teaching when I got to Leeds College of Music. So there was a connection there between my teachers. I really loved playing, and what I wanted to do is go on to be a music therapist. So I started to explore the idea of music therapy at that time as well. Unfortunately, as I was studying at Leeds College of Music, I started to experience quite a bit of pain in my arms and in my neck. Started to lose some of the control of my arms and started to experience a massive degree of numbness in my arms as well. And we were trying to get to the root of what was actually going on for me at that point. And after an X-ray, I was diagnosed with 3 cervical ribs in my neck, which basically compress the core nervous system, which explained why I was getting so much pain and explained why I was getting so much numbness and lack of control at certain times. So at that age, I was 19 at the time, I faced quite a big decision. I either could have the ribs removed, which was a really high risk operation, or I could learn to live with my condition. And I chose the latter. And part of that was having to let go of playing cello and let go of the idea of being a music therapist and pursuing that path as a cellist, which was a big step to take and a big decision to make as well. So then I started to explore what other options were available to me. And a friend of mine was working in a residential care home, and she invited me along to see what it was like. And the residential care home was working with and supporting the last 5 people to move out of Meanwood Park Hospital, which was the big institution in Meanwood in Leeds. Every other service provider in Leeds actually at the time had stated that they couldn't support the last 5 remaining residents. So the manager of the scheme had actually set this home up specifically for these 5 men so that they could have a home outside of the hospital setting. And for me, it was a massive learning curve. I'd not known many people with disabilities before that point. I'd gone to a school where there wasn't a representation of disability in the school. So for me, it was a huge step to take, and really opening up my understanding of diversity and the fact that people live life in very different ways. I think what was really eye-opening for me at that time as well is when I read the original assessments that had been done for the men when they moved into hospital. The age that they were at when they moved into hospital was between 4 and 7. And the youngest age for people moving out of the hospital setting was 45, which meant the men I were working with had been within an institution for at least 41 years of their life. That was, for me, a real eye-opener about some of the injustices around what people had experienced in their life, and how community was a much more sensible place for people to be, and helping people to connect back into community and get back involved in community life was huge. And within 2 years of being there, I did my person-centered planning training before it was in the Value in People white paper. trained by a fantastic lady called Cathy Wintersgill, who was part of Connecting the North, and another gentleman called Matthew Higgs, who was a social worker at the time. And it was just, that was a springboard for me in everything else that I did since then. So I ran a person-centered planning project for Bradford District for 9 years, and then after leaving that, established Imagineer. And really the driving force behind everything that I've done up until this point is that absolute commitment to people being able to lead the life that makes sense to them, irrelevant of their circumstances, and to not be held back by anybody else's limiting beliefs or unnecessary restrictions placed on them. So that has really been the big part of what has driven me to do what I do. And for me, just working with various people and families and communities along the way, just it's been fantastic to be part of that experience and to see the difference it's made in people's lives, and to be able to share that with other people, to just demonstrate that there is a different way of doing and thinking about things as well that can have much better results for everybody involved. So I think it's safe to say that I'm quite passionate about what I do. So yeah, that's my story. There's loads more, obviously, in the 45 years that I've been on this earth, but that's what I wanted to share for this story sharing week. So thank you very much for listening.